So I'm sitting here with a bunch of second year students. They've gone through their internship, they've gone through almost 15 to 17 months of their MBA journey, and let's talk and hear about their experience so far. So Niharika, you've had some bit of experience prior to joining BITSoM. So what made you choose the school in the first place?
Uh, right, so I do have work experience as you've mentioned, and so I was working in the consulting space and the SaaS space for quite some time, and I wanted to actually know beyond what I was already doing. That's when I got to know about BITSoM, and what actually struck me was the fact that they were not only talking about conventional courses like marketing and finance, but they did tell us that we would be going through classes called Winning at the Workplace, where we would be learning beyond the classroom, beyond the conventional classroom learnings. And that is something that was very attractive to me. So I did not want to learn just about balance sheets or, the 4P, 5Cs. I actually wanted to know beyond that. And that is what attracted me the most. And the second thing would be the fact that they were talking about faculties flying in from around the world, some of the best B schools. We've already had profs from Wharton and SMU, etc. And that's exactly what I always wanted. And I think BITSoM hit the sweet spot there.
And Nishan, on the other spectrum, this is your MBA without a work experience, right? So why didn't you choose to join an IIM, a 1 year or 2 year program for that matter?
Yeah, so that was a question I faced myself when I finished my undergrad, and I got into a few IIMs, and then I was posed with the question of what to do. There was advice coming my way to take some time, write the CAT again, or maybe go into an IIM, get some work ex. A lot of different options, but I think at the end of the day, there were a couple of things that really helped me decide on BITSoM. One, of course, was the stellar faculty. I saw that I was getting access to people from Wharton, Stern, all across the globe, the best of the best. And learning as part of the MBA was something that was very key for me. So that was one thing. And the other was post our admission offers, we were given the chance to talk to the dean, talk to people who were part of building BITSoM. And through those conversations, they brought into light about how we were going to actually be part of building an institute, and that really fascinated me. And I just trusted them. I felt like they were out here trying to build something which was special, which was different, and something that I would like to be a part of the journey of. So I think these were the two factors that played the biggest role for me coming into BITSoM.
Right. I've been hearing students talk about the WOW courses, right?
Yeah.
And the stuff that you mentioned. These are unconventional, different from the corporate finance, marketing management, economics that you would go through. So how has that experience been? What would be like your top choice of the course in terms of what you experience, and how was that experience, Niharika?
So for me, if I talk about a few specific subjects that we had in WOW, one would definitely be the one that was on Indian mythology, which was conducted by Devdutt Patnaik, where we actually we went through a lot of Indian mythologies, and we spoke about the world at large, along with the Indian context. And I think, though directly we do not see any pattern, it was very interesting to see the prof actually weave the connection over there. So that was really interesting for me. The second most interesting subject for me in WOW would be the one in theatre. So where we actually had to sometimes come up and enact, maybe recite a poem, act in front of our peers. That actually made me realize how important it is to have those skill sets to function in a team, function in a group. So we all are taught to be very formal in a group setting, etc. But to know how to be formal while also expressing the right amount of vulnerability is very important, because that shows that you are human. So I think that is what struck the chord for me.
What if the school is not able to achieve what it set out to achieve in terms of the brand, and let's say 5 years later it does not perform in the league that you would want in terms of FT ranking and a few other places, right? So have you wondered that situation? What would be your reaction to something like this in terms of your experience?
So, coming in, learning was a great goal for me. It was something that I placed at quite a high point in my whole decision-making process. So, of course, it matters to me what the school's reputation is 5 years down the line. But I honestly feel that given that the learning is stellar, the chances of that happening, even like you said, hypothetically happening, if you take away something from here, it should be more than just the brand name.
Yeah.
It should be about the learning, about the connections you form, both with your peers, with profs. So I think that's really good, and no one can take that away from you, regardless of whether a brand name exists 5 years later or not.
The input metrics are all there, and they'll propel you at least as individuals, no matter what happens to the institution as a whole, which is a great thing. I realized in discussions with the dean as well.
Right.
It is about getting those things right, and results will follow for sure. Right. Okay. What's not working well?
I think I wish we had maybe seniors who could guide us. Maybe alums were already in place to actually tell us what to do, what is the right way ahead and what is the right path. So currently we do mentor our juniors, and I personally feel that I wish I could have had somebody. But then again, that's a trade-off we all made. We chose the vision over maybe having alums, and I'm sure, but despite all of that, despite not having alums or seniors, I think that is made up by the fact that we do have a stellar mentorship program. We have people from the industry, and each of us is actually mapped to somebody from the industry, from the background that we want to pursue in our future, so that kind of makes up for it. But yes, having a senior to tell us what to do, how to actually have, how to make the most of your campus life is something that I'm sure most of my batchmates wish for.
And in terms of the legacy as well, right? Any specific things that you feel the school can do better? Let's say if you achieve goal 5 years, 10 years down the line, what do you think the school can do better as an institution? These are tactical things, alums are not there, etc. etc. Right? So what do you think as an institution that there should be more of? If you talk about, let's say, a batch coming in 2023 or 2024.
I think the number of full-time faculty can be improved. I think my conversations with Professor Leena Chatterjee through the personal development plan, I think has really helped me, and also the candid conversations I have with her helps me reflect more of what I am going to be as a person and a professional. So just having that kind of ecosystem where there are professors around, example, we have a case competition coming up and it's crunch time. I think the professors can really step in and help us, and having that whole ecosystem, I think, can be done better. I think one of the drawbacks of having a stellar visiting faculty is we need to even have a stellar full-time faculty. I think the college can do really well on those aspects.
Right. Talking about internships, you've gone through your own, right? So let's say, where do you work at Niharika, and how was the experience?
Right, so I worked with Nivea, and I was working with their GTM and sales team. So mine was a really interesting project. So essentially, I had the opportunity to be on ground, interact directly with the whole sales value chain, talk to distributors, go for the loading and unloading, go to Jaipur and understand how it was working there. I had a team with whom I was working, so in the team we had DSRs, we had BDs, basically different people from the value chain, and it was really interesting to see. It was kind of vague, but this internship actually helped me understand each and every single element, or understand it on a more atomic level, know each of the stakeholders involved, what have they to gain or lose in it. So for me it was really interesting understanding the dependency between sales and marketing, and how sales is how a lot of the sales part actually also depends on the GTM strategies. So I think that way it was real exposure. So we do have courses that teach us about a lot of marketing and sales stuff, but I think the internship actually shows you the real sales world, and I now have a lot of respect for people who actually work on the ground, because it's a lot of hard work.
Final question, placement time. How are you guys preparing?
So the preparation has been undertaken by an external agency to help us with our CVs, our interview prep. But also what is really good about BITSoM is there are small groups which are formed with, there's a consulting focus interest group, there's a marketing interest focus group, there's a finance interest focus groups, and I think the clubs and committees are actually coming together of sending out primers, sending out very current topics trending. For example, the marketing club sent out a marketing primer, and we are also working on a book with top 100 brands. And I think even just having conversations with the career services team of letting our expectations know, I think that it's just a matter of time when we announce our presence in the corporate world.
So all the best for the placements. It has been great in terms of interacting with you all, and always a pleasure to speak with some students. Candid view, more importantly, and which is not there in a lot of places. So thank you for being candid, and all the best for your journey ahead.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now I am with a couple of first year students and a second year student. So the co-founding class and the founding class. You guys decide which class is which. The idea is to again talk about how is the life outside of academics. So what do you guys do for fun?
Yeah, so basically we have a lot of inter-batch matches. So first of all we started with sport matches. We had senior versus junior football match, both boys and girls, and we had cricket matches too. And even when we came here, we had a lot of fun activities with the seniors. They tried to prank us, we pranked them back. We keep roasting each other with founding batch pranks and all. So we also have other cultural activities. So the next week we have Halloween and we have a lot of parties planned. And on top of that, ECC and different clubs are also trying to prank juniors, seniors, etc. So that's what we do for fun.
So yeah, tell me more, Vitika, in terms of what kind of pranks did you guys do?
So when the juniors came in the first week, we told them that there's a very serious mentorship program that is being started by the big consulting firms, and you have to make a video interview. And in that video bit, we kept a series of questions, and in between there was this one question where they had to answer one thing that makes them unique, and they had to do it while doing a physical activity, probably juggling, dancing, gymming. And the plan was to collect all the videos, just capture that bit and play it for them when their talent night would happen. So we did that. And whenever we have our club meetings and everything, it often happens that we enter into the room with a very, very serious kind of face, that we've heard that as a batch you guys are not very serious, what are you guys doing? And then in a while we tell them that no, it's chill, we're just joking.
Yeah, right. And so aside that, what kind of clubs there are for social clubs, as you would call them? So what are those clubs, Dhruv?
Yeah. So for the social clubs, we have a sustainability club that is very, very active in the college. So as part of the curriculum, we have a social life project that everyone has to take during the 2 year. So in association with the SSIC, every student does take a sustainability club. And then other than the social clubs, we have many more academic clubs like the marketing club, finance club, we have consulting club, the operations club and all of those things. And we also have other fun activities like the sports club, the dance club, the music club, the book writers club and all those things. So it's a mixed batch of people because the students here are a diverse, like from across everything, and they have interests across the field. So I think it caters to everyone over here.
Right. And what kind of mentorship happens between the second years and first years? What kind of specific initiatives you guys took?
When the whole summer placement process happened, because we've been through it, we just wanted to be with them in every step of the way. So we decided that individually as clubs, we did events where we shared our experience. We tell them that how we went about, what was our plan, how was our schedule like. We shared the transcripts of our interviews with them. Then we took their mock interviews. So marketing club took the initiative of doing the mock interviews of people who are interested in, who are standing up for the roles for the marketing. So all of these initiatives are taken.
Yeah. At the very first week when the summer placement dates were announced, so we sat down with the seniors to get our resumes verified. We had some behavioral questions in check sessions, and then we had some mock group discussions, we had mock personal interviews. So all in all, people who have been in that field, who have experienced that, were guiding the people who want to get into the particular industry. So that was really good.
Yeah, even talking about clubs, the introduction to each club was also a fun thing.
Okay.
So the book club came and split it into groups. So they split into 5 members, and they told that you have to create a story. So the first member started with a sentence, and the others had to carry on.
Okay.
So the marketing club also had different activities, like they gave bizarre products and told to sell it. So the introduction to clubs was also very interactive and fun.
Yeah.
What kind of products?
So we had Patanjali cigarettes and friction, like wet tires and all. So it was fun and also very thought-provoking too.
Right. But outside of academics in general, what do you guys do for fun on a day-to-day basis, if at all you get time for that?
So I think, like you said, getting time out of it is very difficult because we have a block teaching method. So one course after the other we do, so it becomes really stressful. But so along with the ECC, I think the fact that we all live together in one building, a lot of us take initiatives that we are doing this fun activity in our apartment. Will you all join us? We'll do some themed party. Sometimes, even like in Diwali, we gathered up together to do puja together. So all of these things happen.
Yeah.
Right. And what about sports and other? Because since it's
Yeah.
not a campus,
Yeah.
so how does the college make up for it?
So the apartment where we all stay, there's a turf very close to the apartment, like it's a 2-minute walk and all. So the college has tie-ups with the turf so that the students can go and play at whatever time they want. Like you can play football over there, you can play cricket over there, and like there are also gyms and other clubs that are within the society. So we have squash in that, we have badminton, and we have obviously gym and swimming pools. So like I have been working for a few years now, and coming back to studying was a very big change for me. Like getting back and sitting into class, learning concepts was something that I found challenging at first, but eventually as the term went across, so we just figured out how to manage subjects along with doing extracurricular activities and all these things.
Right. And what about you, Tika?
So as a founding batch, I think because everything is being set up as we go along, so we have to be on our toes completely. I mean, we have to be prepared that the timetable can change anytime, the event scheduling can change anytime. So while on one hand it has taught us that how to be just very prepared for any kind of certainty, or like the way we call in BITSoM, to be prepared for the VUCA world. In the same way, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to manage with the whole schedule. So I think this is something that as the batches will come, will get streamlined and better.
Right. And if there is one thing that you would want the school to do differently, what would that be?
I think a lot of things will change or become better when everything is in the same physical space. Right now, the residential part is a little away from the campus part, and then even for like sports, you have to go to the turf. So when it will all come together in one place, like they are planning to build in Kalyan, a lot of things will become more smooth.
Right. And what is the agility from a faculty or actually your administration standpoint in terms of your suggestions? Be it about even the housing conditions to how the sports facilities are, how the student life is, etc. Are they accepting it? Are they changing course as you go along?
Yeah, so this is something that happens to every course. Like during the course, like we have a 2-week block teaching method over here. So and between the classes, like usually now we're going through an Office 365 course, that's a WOW course. So in that course, the professor after every class asks for suggestions and ways on how the students feel that the class can be made better. And the changes are incorporated the very next year. And this happens throughout every subject, be it the core or the WOW. So for the core, the feedbacks are taken regularly. Like as some seniors had some feedbacks last year, what they had given, that was implemented on our batch. So the suggestions that was given have been actually taken up very seriously by the admin.
Apart from the courses, to talking about the other stuff, so we are actually encouraged to give suggestions. So if we talk about one of the suggestions was, there was food getting wasted. So someone suggested let us put up a board where we mentioned that this much food was wasted. So it was promptly accepted and the board was set up. And each suggestion is in a streamlined manner. So we have different teams who cater to different suggestions. So if we have some difficulties in our housing, we could directly go to our operations team and mention our problems, and they would promptly just try to tackle that obstruction.
Okay, interesting. I just met your warden, and she basically said she treats all of you like children.
Yeah.
So how's that experience? Again, off topic, but it should be good to talk about.
She's a wonderful person. So like I have an instance where on a term break, we had all gone back home, and we have to sign an attendance sheet like we are in the campus. So I forgot to sign my attendance sheet, and 2 days after that, during the holidays, at night that warden calls me and asks, "Bacha, are you safe? Where are you?" and all those things. Why didn't you sign the attendance sheet? And like in a very jokey and jovial manner. So that was something like I actually felt that yes, she cares for me. She is someone who is actually there to look after the students.
That's the culture of the school. So what else have you kind of seen in terms of this type of a culture of nurturing and caring, etc. come out?
So there are two things where I felt that there is a lot of importance given to how we are feeling, how what we're going through. One was the one-on-one session that happens with Dean. I think I never expected, because in my previous institutes this has never happened, that I am having such frequent interactions with the dean, and that one-on-one was like a very candid conversation of how my life has been so far, where I'm coming from, what are my plans in future. And the other is batch meet. In batch meet, they just like encourage us to vent out any kind of stress that we are going through, and they're very patient. Sometimes I think we are very aggressive when it comes to our feedback, that we are not able to manage the wow course with with the core course and everything, and they're very patient that yeah, we hear you, okay, we won't keep the courses on weekends and everything. So I think these two platforms are places where I feel that we are really being nurtured, and we are really being taken care of well.